everyone, it's Nicole and we're gonna work on organizing today. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on 2 drawers and also some stamps because I have 4 containers. They're fridge bins that I have stamp sets in, and I didn't want to do them all at once because today, for example, it took me, I'd say, about almost an hour to work on those stamp sets. So I kind of just did 2 things. I'm going to work on these drawers and I'm going to work on the stamp sets. I try to make it that I don't put more than an hour to an hour and a half every week because I don't want to get discouraged. I want to make it so that it's feasible for me to get done. If every week I said, I got to put 5 or 6 hours, eventually I would give up. But because, and then I do it in chunks too, I did the drawers and then I did other stuff and then I come back and then I do the stamp set. And then that way it feels more manageable to me. So these 2 drawers here, they actually are on my other desk where I color with my Copics and my Ohuhu markers. And these drawers have been this way since I moved in this house. So basically, when I was unpacking, I had decided that this drawer was going to be for journal blocks or journal paper. There was actually 2 of them. And I just would throw everything in. And it stayed like that. And it didn't get any messier. It's just that's the way, I was unpacking and I just put everything in those drawers and that was it. And now, 8 years later, I'm taking the time and I am going to make sure that all my drawers are nice and organized and it feels so good. So when I'm looking at these, I have a bunch of these journaling books that were from Bo Bunny and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't seen those in literally 8 years. And this is why I'm loving doing this. I knew those 2 drawers had journal papers in it. I knew that. And somebody asked, like, how do you know where everything is? I've been in this room for 8 years, so I know where everything is. I am labeling everything now. Somebody asked me what the name of that little printer I have, that thermal printer. It's Nimbot, Niimbot D110. And right now it's on for $19.99 in Canada. And I just bought refills and I got 3 refills for $19.99. So, because I almost used up my first one on this project right here that I'm doing. And I didn't want to buy any extras when I bought the printer because I'm like, what if I don't use it, right? And then I have the printer and all these rolls. But now I know, yes, you're using it and you're loving it. So I'm okay with investing a little bit more. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of making little piles in my drawer and it should stay like that. Another thing I could do, if you look at my first videos, I have these little containers from the dollar store. I could get containers that fits all of these different journaling blocks and put the containers in there and then I know they won't be moving around. That might be something that I will invest in maybe a little later, and then kind of say, okay, I'd have to measure things and see how it would fit. Because the ones from Bo Bunny, I think what I would do is cut the kind of the manufacturing brand on top there, and then it would fit in that square one pretty good. But just the fact that I went through this one, I was so excited. And the reason that the one on top there, the Halloween one, the reason it's on top, I made sure it was on top because I want to use this one this year for Halloween. So I made sure it was on top so that I am going to use it. Now, I was only going to do 1 drawer But I just loved what I saw in there so much that I'm like, hey, there's 2 of these drawers. How about if I clean the second one? I have, at this point, I think I had only spent 15 minutes. So I'm like, I usually say 30. So let's bring out that next drawer and get it done. One thing that I'm doing is, like today, I was like, oh, I feel like doing more. I did more. If I am working on something and I'm like, I'm so over this, then I'm over it. Like, I don't push it. I work on what I feel like working on. I just make sure that I pick stuff that I feel like working on. Now you might say, Nicole, but that's the problem. I don't feel like working on it. I feel ya. And I have to say, when I started this, I did not feel like doing it at all. And that's why I kind of did the cleaning first. And once my room was clean, then I felt encouraged. Because when you see those mountains of stuff, yeah, we know it's going to be hours of work. So yeah, we don't feel like doing it. But if just one bite at a time, right? So I got my room clean, and now, it's not as if I'm saying I'm doing all my stamp sets today, because I know that would take me about 5.5 to 6 hours to get those 4 containers of stamp sets done in a day. There is no way I'd want to do that. Absolutely not. When I did my digital files, I didn't do them all at once. I did it in a couple of sessions because I knew it was too overwhelming. But then once I got that first part done, I got excited. I wanted to get another, file cabinet and then move everything into 2. And now I love going to get files, my digital prints, because everything is exactly where I know it is and where it should be. And then when it comes time for cleanup, literally, it takes me less than 10 minutes, because even though everything had a home and a spot before, it was a messy and an organized spot. Now it's a nice and clean and organized area. So I love putting stuff away, and I don't like to see stuff on my desk. So I'm like, I'm going to take the 5 to 10 minutes it's going to take me to clean this up, because I want to see a clean area. And a couple things happened, I'm way more productive than I was, 6 months ago, because I enjoy going in my craft room. It's not a chore anymore. My brain doesn't feel like it's cluttered. I go up there and it feels like a haven, and that's what our craft room should be, right? It should feel like it's a place where, it feels great to get away. I mean, look at this container. It is completely, and that's like such a mess, and that's how it was on my shelf. Now, one thing that I did when I first started, right, was clean what I can see. So that's why I cleaned my room. And then I picked areas that was bugging me, like the digital files area. That was bugging me. My desk where, I do my coloring of my stamps right now. That desk, I did not use it for 8 years. Now I use it 2 or 3 times a week, right? So that was an area that was really bugging me. And I cleaned that up, and I cleaned my desk, and I cleaned, behind me. And there's one spot left that is really bugging me, because it can be seen. It's not in drawers, and it's my IKEA thing. It's 5 by 5, the cubes, and these stamp sets are in those cubes. Well, I knew if I was going to clean those, I had to do the stamp sets first. So I'm kind of taking little bites. I'm going to clean that thing, but I know that in order for it to look clean, I needed to start with these. So I always look at, okay, this entire thing, I don't like it, but what can I do that I can take little bites and fix it. So I'm doing the stamp sets. I didn't want to do them all at once. So what I'm doing is I'm taking one of those fridge bins a week and I'm cleaning them up. And the first day when I did that, I made labels for all my categories. Now what it's freeing me up for is when I take some of these out, there's tons of stamp sets that are still in the original packaging and I don't like them in there. So now I'm taking my little printer, my little Nimbot D110, and I'm making labels for all of them, and I'm putting, the name of them on the stamp set so I remember where it was from, what it's called. And then once all that is done, I'm going to take out the first two that I worked on, week 1 and week 2 of working on those stamp sets with all the labels. And I know as soon as I add that third one, I'm going to have to move those categories over. Now, and that's fine. I don't mind doing that. Now, I don't know if I want to touch those gorgeous stamps. They kind of have like this special packaging, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to put them with the same as everything else. There was a ton there. This day, it took me about half an hour to get the stamp sets that I did get done. That's one thing. I still limit it, 1 hour and I'm done. I can't do any more than that because it's too much. And again, when I feel like I'm done, I gotta finish, wrap it up and pick it up another day, because if you push through it, then the next time that it's time to go do it, you might just say, I don't feel like doing it because I don't have the energy to work on this for 3 hours today. But if you know that it's half hour or 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever you set, then you can say, I can do anything for 15 minutes, right? So once I have all of these labeled and already, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to divide them by categories. I'm going to notice that, hey, I think I need to make new categories. And I don't feel that was one thing. I did not feel like taking out my laminator and doing that whole thing, to make the dividers. So what did I do? I cut the sheets in the size that I wanted. I think they're 2 by 8.5. I take a pencil and I write the new categories, because I'm like, you know what? Next time I might come up with new categories, and I'd rather just do them all at once instead of doing this over and over and over and over again, So that was my easy way out. The same as when I divide everything, when I take everything out of the iris containers or those drawers. Today it just happened that most of the things from these drawers, they went back in the drawers. There was a few things that I ended up putting away, like there was some Tim Holtz stuff. I have an iris container that contained all Tim Holtz products. I went and I put that stuff there. There was actually some 4x6 pattern paper pads in here. I went and I put those with the paper pads, So I did kind of put those things where they belong. But once I get to that section, I don't go, this tags drawer needs cleaning, So then all of a sudden I'm doing, I get squirrel, off to something else. No, I stay on task and I finish this here. And then I go, that other thing, it's a problem for another day. That's a problem for tomorrow me, Today, I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to get it done. It's kept me focused and it's kept me motivated to do that. Another thing that I said, I'm way more productive, but because I cleaned My desk, I started coloring images with my Copic markers and my Ohuhu markers. I've had my Copic markers for almost 20 years and I've barely used them. And ever since I've had that desk cleaned, I think I'm up to 23 image or stamps that I have colored in. So yay me. I started journaling on my layouts and putting them away. I'm 100 layouts in that I've journaled on and put away. So I find that I'm getting so much more motivation, more than just having a clean area. Oh, and I started making a whole bunch of page kits for my scrap room. Like, I'm sure I could think of, 10 other things that it changed for me because I did this. But that's it. That's going to complete this Organize with me. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.